Hello everyone. This right here is going to be a technical training on map administration. It doesn't really cover sort of like proctoring or other kinds of like spring information, particularly that might be particular for your school or your division. This is just about things that you can bump into on the technical side of map while you're administering the test. Even if you're a bit experienced with map testing, this might be worth it. I'm going to try to keep it under 15 minutes, and you might learn a couple tricks that you didn't know before. But if you are brand new or you've only done map testing a couple of times, you definitely are going to benefit from this. So first of all, you're going to log into teach.mapnwa.org. I don't think you need the /admin there. It should send you to single sign-on. You also can access this from the source or any kind of link there. And then you log in. You're using your account's information. I'm going to go ahead and log into my old alma mater, Berkeley. But obviously, you log into your own school account. And from here, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be managing a test session for kids to take tests at. There's two ways that you can set up a session from here. One, and this is often the option that I use, is test my class, which basically will put every single student that you have at your school into a class. And then you can test any number of them. It doesn't matter that you're not testing all these students. You can see how many there are here. The problem is that this list might include students who are not full-time at your school. In some instances, maybe they've even already left. And so it is a long list. If you don't want to deal with this long list, you might be in a situation where you want to have fewer kids in the class. That's fine too. You don't need to do this, but this would work just fine, especially if you're doing big group testing. So I'm going to go ahead and end this session and show you how we can pull some individual kids. Also, it's just a little bit visually easier, and I'm going to show you through a couple things. I'm going to put 3 students in here. We're going to put the Aboriginal boys. Oops. Map is really, really finicky when it comes to searching for students' names. You really need to be kind of like robust. It's not really a search function, so just be aware of that. And let's say that I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give them the math test today. I can do that essentially before even starting the test session. I can assign them the math test. Hooray. The other thing that you might want to do for certain students is you can assign accommodations. The most important one on here is a read aloud for students that have dyslexia or something like that. And then you could set this up and save this test session and open it at a future date, but probably what you're doing is just setting it up right before you're testing. So we're going to go ahead and click on Test Now. All right, so now I've got my 3 students here. They are ready to log in. And what I'm going to show you is what it looks like on the student side over there. There's really nothing else that I need to do at this point in time except for get students test set up. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to open a new window. And we're going to do this as if we are a student. So you could either be giving students, these directions remotely, or they might be on your campus, or you could even set this up for them on their computer or on the school computers. Well, a couple things about the school computers. So first of all, I do recommend using the browser version instead of the application version. The application often gets outdated and then it doesn't work, but the browser version that I'm about to show you should always work. If, however, you get some problems with it, you might need to address them. So I've actually set it up here that you're going to see some of those problems that I might bump into. So you're going to go to this link on again, not on your computer, but on the student's computer. And it's test.mapnwa.org. And you could go there and that's just fine. You can even just Google map test and it will be basically the first result. But I do recommend putting this /#/no pop-up thing at the end of it, because what this does is it prevents the test window from becoming a pop-up window, which becomes a problem if there's pop-up blocker. Sometimes it confuses students who don't really understand the window structure so well. And you'll see here that I'm actually not booted to a login screen because I have a couple problems going on here. So let me talk about this. First of all, if you have an OS problem, operating system problem, you are in trouble. That computer cannot be used. This cannot be fixed. If you are on the Fusion side and you're using school computers, you should be submitting tickets that this is the case with your technology so that IT knows that your computer systems are outdated, and you're going to have to use something more creative. Other ways of testing students that are not school computers include encouraging them to bring their own computers, which is totally reasonable. You can use iPads as an iPad application that can be used. And then beyond that, you should maybe test multiple student computers, make sure that this problem is only affecting one or all of them. See if your teachers' computers are maybe usable or ones that are not being used by teachers currently. And other than that, those are probably your main strategies for dealing with that problem. I have two other problems here, browser problem and a screen resolution problem, both of which we're going to fix. A browser problem just means that the browser is outdated. On most of the computers, the Fusion computers, if the Chrome version is outdated, it actually is difficult to download a new version of Chrome. So what you should do is go download a new version of Firefox, which is what we're going to open in a minute. I've already downloaded it. I'm sure you can figure out how to download a Firefox browser. And then we're also going to fix the screen resolution, which pretty much always needs to be this size, the 1024 by 768. You don't need to memorize that because it will tell you every time, just like this. So let's go ahead and fix that. We're going to change the display settings. This is probably going to mess with my video a little bit, so just accept that it's going to be a little ugly looking for a few minutes, and that's just the way that it is. You're going to scroll all the way to the bottom here, second to the bottom, 1024 by 768, and then you're going to want to accept or keep the changes for the new computer. You don't need to do anything about the blurry stuff, thank you. And here we are. Now we're good to go. If we open Firefox, because we know that the Chrome isn't going to work, we're going to then type in that same thing, that test.mapnwa.org/#/no-popup, whenever it decides like it wants to cooperate. And then from there, we can go ahead and get our student logged in. Thank you. All right. #no-pop-up. Again, if you do leave the pop-up thing in there, it's just going to pop up an extra window, which will either pop up or not, depending on your pop-up browser. All right, cool. Now students ready to log in. They're going to need two things, the session name and the password, which are listed up here in the upper left. You'll probably write this on a whiteboard or just tell the student directly. But the session name and password is the same for every single student. The way that students individually log in is they go ahead and pick their name from the list, or they could even go in here and start typing, and it will narrow down the list to just their name. So we're going to log in as if we're Ezra here. They're not able to select the test because we've already assigned it to them. I recommend this just so they don't actually accidentally take that language usage test. There we go. You want them to be taking the Math 6+ and the Reading 6+. Those are the two tests you want students to be taking. All right, students can verify their information here. Even if their information is wrong, they can still test. So if they mention to you that their grade is wrong, make note of that. You can message me about it, but they're still valid to test. It's not going to mess anything up. So they just click on yes from here, and then it says they're waiting for the proctor to confirm. Now, we got really lucky. This updates every 60 seconds, and it happened to update exactly at the right time. If the student's ready to confirm, you can always press refresh page here, and that will update where you're at or where the students are at pretty much in real time. So Ezra here is waiting to be confirmed. You can confirm a student individually by going here and taking the confirm action, but generally I never do that. I'm almost always just going to press this blue button to confirm all students at the same time. You wouldn't do that if you're concerned that a student may be logged into someone else by accident or something like that. And then Ezra's going to have his test here and he's going to be ready to go. Okay. Now, while Ezra's testing at this point, I mean, you basically don't need to be doing too much. You've already kind of given the directions about what the test is, and Ezra can go through and is taking this test. I'm going to show you here what's going to happen if Ezra is just starting to guess random stuff along the way and going through these questions pretty quickly. You know, I'm not really giving this any serious thought. And after about 6 questions of just blatant guessing, it is going to pause the test for him. And you can see on my side that a moment ago it realized that he was on question 5 and had guessed rapidly 5 times. Again, that means that he's gone through the question so quickly that he likely didn't even read it. And then probably the student will come to you and be like, hey, oh, my test is paused. Or you might notice, I'm going to refresh the page. That's going to take a second still. You might notice in a moment this is going to turn red and say, oh, his test is paused. Because he did too much rapid guessing. You're going to have to unlock him. They'll come and ask you for the proctor pin, which is up here. You can give them that 4911, and they can type that in right there. But really what you should do before giving that proctor pin is check in with them, talk about the situation. And I explain the following. You know, I ask them like, hey, the test thinks that you're, I remove all emotion from it, right? The test thinks that you're going too quickly. What that means is that they saw you go through 6 questions in a row where they think you didn't even read the answer to the question. Are you moving a little fast? And then, you know, whatever they say, basically just offer them the opportunity to take a break, ask them if they're ready to continue at this point in time or if they need to test another day. And then you can either give them that Proctor pin, or you can actually just take the resume action from your Proctor dashboard, and that will go ahead and kick Ezra back into taking the test right over here. Okay, now another common problem that will happen, or maybe not common, but every once in a while, is the student will do something like the internet will crash, or they'll close their browser, and that will be very annoying because they'll think, oh god, okay, oops, I closed my browser, I need to log back in. So they'll go ahead and do that. And what you're going to find when we log back in is that Ezra's name is not going to be on the list available anymore. The reason for that is that Map still thinks that he's testing. It hasn't realized that he's dropped out of the section, and we can't find Ezra's name on this list. He'll panic, he'll come and find you and say like, oh my god, what's going on? I can't find my name on the list. Is it lost? All my hard work? No, that's fine. This trick that I'm about to show you will solve this problem and many other problems. You know, when your computer has an issue and you don't know how to fix it, you just press the restart button. That's what this is. So you're going to first of all take the suspend action. Suspend is a long-term pause. It means that he could finish now, he could finish a week from now, tomorrow. Suspend is a very, very flexible function. It has saved his test for as far as he's gone, so it's saved these 6 questions that he's answered, and will allow him to finish at a future date. Now, suspending it, he's still not on the list here. Even if we refresh, he still won't be on the list here. That's because it's basically said Ezra's done testing for today. So what we want to do actually is do the test again action. You'll need this test again action also if you're having a student do like math and reading in a day, which I don't generally recommend, but for some students is appropriate. And then you'll tell the student to refresh their page with F5 or just clicking on that refresh button, and you will see that his name is right there. No problem. He'll continue. But Nick, are all my answers lost? Am I going to have a hard time? Worry you not, Ezra. Everything is totally fine. I'm going to go ahead and confirm you. And when I confirm you, I'm going to see this thing that says, hey, do you want to resume the test? The answer is going to be yes. In a moment here, we're going to see that he has the arrow again. I'll show you that we start off on question, I think, 7. Yep, question 7. And here he can continue his test going forward. This is a practice that you can do yourself if you want to cycle through. Obviously, I don't want these 6 questions to actually count for Ezra at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the terminate action, which means erase this test, scrub it from existence. This has never happened. You will pretty much only take this action when you're fiddling yourself. The only instance you would do it with a student, I've done it twice out of thousands of tests, is because they were just guessing through at the beginning and they were like, you know what, really today is not the day. And I asked them like, did you answer any of the questions really? And they're like, no, like can I just start over another day? Great, terminate your test, totally fine. All right, so Ezra is all set. We don't need him anymore over there. And 2 other things I want to show you. One is you can add students to your test session. So if you have these kiddos, they're there, but you might want to add a 4th kid. So you can add that directly in the session right here. And then the other thing I want to show you is if you click out of here, or you close out of this screen, and then in a future date you go to test, you might notice that test my class is blocked out. You might find some students to test, and we'll go ahead and find another student that we want to test. And now, oh no, I can't click test now. Now you might have noticed this on the previous page, why I can't do this. If you do, congratulations, you get a cookie. The problem is that you currently have an active test session. We didn't close our prior test session. If you see this box over here, you cannot start a new test session. You can only have 1 test session at a time. It's a little bizarre because you just add students to this test session. It really doesn't make all that big a difference. It's just for the system to be pulling tests and what's active and what's not, and suspended tests and so on and so forth. So do make sure when you finish that you click on this end session button. If you don't click on that end session button, it's only going to get in your way. It's not going to like not save student tests or anything like that. The system is very robust in that regard. It's just going to make your life a little bit annoying if you have something over here. But other than that, you should be good to go. Hope this was helpful. Happy testing, and of course, if you have any questions, let me know.